The Canada Post strike is now into its second week with no breakthroughs in sight, and small businesses are really feeling the financial crunch. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business says 75% of small businesses say they have been negatively impacted by this strike, and 8 in 10 businesses rely on Canada Post in this country. So Black Friday is coming soon, kicking off holiday shopping. Those impacts likely to hit much harder. For more, we're joined this morning by Corinne Pullman, Executive Vice President of Advocacy at the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So we've laid out the numbers. Here's some more. 3/4 of Canadian small businesses negatively impacted by this strike. Where are you starting to see it hurt the most?
Well, I think it's a pretty broad-based sort of thing that's happening in terms of it's all kinds of businesses. You would think, of course, businesses that are going to make deliveries, which of course it does affect them. It's going to cost them more. There are alternative options for them to send their products to their customers, but generally speaking, they cost more. So they have to think about including those costs somehow. And they're probably a little bit afraid to increase their cost to the customers, having to compete with some online giants out there, of course. So they do try to absorb some of that. Secondly, a lot of businesses rely on the Canada Post to get checks in the mail. They still really pay themselves a lot through check, whether it's a supplier or them sending a check to a customer. So we're starting to hear people feeling the effects of their cash flow because they're not able to get the checks that they normally would.
That's a really good point. Looking back at consumers, Black Friday is coming, but the sales are already on. How much of a financial hit is this strike going to bring to small businesses in terms of holiday ordering and deliveries?
Well, we are very worried. We're getting a lot of feedback right now about people concerned about the holiday season sort of really coming into full swing and them not being able to potentially get products to their customers. But also the customers are maybe less likely to be going because they're afraid of not being able to get the products. So we're really trying to encourage Canadians to say, look, go to small businesses that you enjoy, ask them if you're worried about getting the product that you need, and they'll probably find a way to get it to you. They're very resilient, they're going to be creative about it, and they're going to want to be able to make sure to get their customers the products they need.
You know, some businesses have taken the proactive step of going to a third-party delivery platform, like an Amazon or an Intelcom in Montreal. What kind of challenges do they face?
Well, I think that, again, not as many would do that as you would think. But of course, the delivery options could also be a bit more expensive for them. It's also a challenge for some of these smaller businesses to get their products like upfront on an Amazon type of database. So they also struggle with that a little bit. But certainly many of them, it's more the ability to compete with those large online platforms that is really the significant hit for them, because I think a lot of people just say it's easier, I'll just go to Amazon and do it. But it would really be a shame if you don't give that small business a chance, because they can certainly provide those products as well, and they can probably do it with a big smile on their face.
What extra challenges are small businesses that are in rural parts of Canada feeling?
Well, that is definitely another significant factor in all of this. In rural and remote parts of Canada, Canada Post is sometimes the only option they have. So we've been hearing from a few folks, especially those that are, say, more on the online ordering type of establishments, that they're really feeling the hit right now because they cannot get their products to their customers because Canada Post is the only option they have. So it can be really tough for those types of businesses.
The Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses has called for government intervention in this case. You know, as a consumer, I look at the calendar, I think about the strike, and I've got my concerns. But what are you most concerned about if this strike continues?
Well, just that a lot of businesses are going to find themselves in a tough situation. For some retailers, this is where 20, 30, even 40% of their revenues are coming in is during this Christmas holiday season. And so not being able to get their customers their products, or feeling that their customers are not ordering because they're afraid they're not going to get their products, is going to have an impact. And post the holiday season, many of them go through a bit of a darker period. Like, people tend to sort of hibernate a bit more. They don't go shop out as much a bit more. So if they can't get the resources that they need now, it could be a bit more challenging time post holiday season.
Corinne Pullman, Executive Vice President of Advocacy at the Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.